Hi guys, it's Michelle, and today's video is going to be a super creepy video that I'm going to be filming in honor of it being October. I do love Halloween time. I say I don't like Halloween because it's just not my favorite. Today's video is going to be in honor of it being the month of Halloween and month of creepy ass shit, and it's gonna also be in honor of the It movies. We're gonna be talking about different encounters that have happened before that kind of resemble things that happen in the It movies, while basically just surrounded by clowns and killer clowns in particular. Just really creepy real life instances, and I think that we tend to follow media pretty often. Like, I think that's a normal thing, so I think when these It movies come out, I think there's going to be more instances of those like killer clowns that was happening in 2016. It wouldn't surprise me at all if that happens, because I feel like we just follow the things that are popular at the time, and obviously the new It movie is going to spark some people's ideas to do these kind of things. Do I necessarily think all these instances are based on It, or like it was based on that? No. I just think they do correlate and they kind of have some similar vibes, and maybe the idea of clowns being like killer clowns came from the movie It, and like, because obviously the original movie came out in the 90s, so some of these instances happened after the fact, which I personally think that the idea of killer clowns could stem from It, and like could at least get more popular from it, rather than actually coming from it. But these are basically going to be some experiences that people have had with actual clowns. So the first instance is called the Phantom Clowns, and a lot of people think that the idea of the It movies is actually centered around the entirety of this like epidemic of phantom clowns, which is pretty interesting because they do have some similar characteristics. But it basically starts with the idea of kidnapping and like clowns kidnapping kids, which obviously does sort of happen in the It movies. Maybe if you just talk to your parents and stuff, if you look into the older days, kidnapping was like something that was known, like it was a concept that people understood, but no one really did anything to protect their children from being kidnapped. Like, a lot of times people would let their kids go play outside by themselves. It kind of gives you a Stranger Things kind of vibe with like how they used to be able to just go ride their bikes home from their friend's house and like be home alone. Never. When I was growing up, never. Like, I would never be able to ride my bike home at night. Like, that's just so weird to me. But in the 70s and 80s, this was like pretty normal because no one was like afraid of kidnapping. Like, it was a thing that could happen, but no one really took precaution against it. Or at least they weren't even as close to as cautious as parents are now about kidnapping. But this all changed in April of 1981. So during this time, the Boston Public School District sent the memo out that there were adult men who were dressing up like clowns, trying to mess around with children in some sort of way. I guess maybe sometimes at recess. This is also a popular thing. The teachers would used to go smoke cigarettes during their students' recesses, so they wouldn't really pay attention to what the kids were doing. And some people say that there were clowns that were approaching the children during recess hours, which is just so creepy in general. I just hate the idea of that. Like, I would literally freak out. But these instances began growing, and on May 5th, 1981, the local Boston News actually began gaining interest in the theory of like clowns trying to abduct children. There was a ton of stories coming out from children being terrified because there was a clown in a van who were trying to lure them in with candy. So tons and tons of calls of like the same instances kept coming in, which was super strange, and the Boston police didn't really know what to do. They were very confused as to like why there were such similar instances in different counties throughout Boston, but they didn't have any leads at all. So for a while, police began pulling over all vans and cars at all with any clowns in them. I guess clowns were a popular thing in the 80s, that people like would dress up as clowns to go to birthday parties and stuff. I mean, that kind of still is popular, but definitely not as much as it seemed to used to be. So I guess there were a lot of clowns that they pulled over in Boston. However, all of them were just birthday party clowns and were not the killer clowns or the creepy clowns that were alluring in these children. So when the police were basically dumbfounded by like the idea they didn't know where the hell these clowns were coming from. They didn't know who they were. They decided to look back into all the cases, and they realized that no adults ever saw the clowns, and it were only children between the ages of 5 to 7 that were seeing these clowns, which is so weird and just creepy as hell. And there's also like a theory that I don't even want to talk about, but like it's basically like a Slender Man. I don't even want to say it, but it's like the Harlequin, and I guess that's like a clown that's been seen by children only. So that's kind of pretty interesting that only these children are seeing this clown and no adults have seen it. Yet there's reports all over the different counties of Boston and all over the state and also all over Chicago that are coming in with similar instances. It's just super, super creepy. And it's obviously way before social media and way before children. Like ages 5 to 7 had social media. So to me, it makes it seem like these clowns actually happened, but because they were never seen by adults, that's how they got their name, the Phantom Clowns. I think it's more terrifying the fact that like no adults could have seen them, yet there were so many different cases that had such similar details. Because I wonder if they were even real or if they were really ghosts. I don't know. Don't kill me. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so glad I'm not a kid anymore. Like, apparently you can only see these clowns if you're like 6 years old, so bye. The next clown encounter that I want to talk about is Pogo the Clown. Now, this was a real life, obviously all these are, why did I say that? Real life encounter with a clown that is quite terrifying and one of the most horrific clown encounters that you could ever imagine, and it was a serial killer clown. John Wayne Gacy was born on March 17th, 1942 in Chicago, Illinois, and he was one of the most disgusting serial killers in history. The creepiest thing to me is that he worked at children's parties and was very popular around the Chicago area at these children's parties as a clown, as Pogo the Clown. And you know, he would go and like make, you know, animal balloons and do things that clowns do, which I don't know, if I was a mom, I would never let a freaking clown at my child's party. Like, that is just a recipe for disaster. Pogo the Clown would actually rape and kill his victims, which is so disgusting and terrifying, and he had over 33 victims and he would bury them in the crawl space under his house, which is so it's just gruesome. His victims were all teenage boys or young men that were killed in Cook County, Illinois between the years 1972 and 1978. So he was found guilty and he was executed on May 10th, 1994. But I don't know, the idea that he was just continuously working with children for so long just really creeps me out. The next encounter is probably something that you have heard about, and it occurred in West Palm Beach, Florida on the 26th of May, 1990, 27 years ago. Marlene Morin was eating breakfast with her son when she heard a knock at the door. When she answered the door, it was 10:45 a.m., which to me really freaks me out the most, because I would answer the door at 10:45 a.m. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like you would expect anything really scary to be at your door early in the morning. Like, it's just, that really creeps me out in general. But she answered the door, and when she opened the door, she saw a clown with 2 silver balloons and a bouquet of flowers. Before Marlene could say anything, the clown shot and killed Marlene with a revolver. And Marlene's ex-husband, Michael, was suspected at the time, but for 27 years, this mystery remained completely unsolved until about a week ago, which is insane. Around a week ago, a woman named Sheila Keene was arrested and charged of first-degree murder for killing Marlene Morin. Turned out that Sheila ended up marrying Marlene's ex-husband Michael 12 years after the killing, though at the time of the killing, it was suspected that they were having an affair. This case is still very much so ongoing, because Michael Warren has not been arrested yet, though it is definitely speculated that he had some type of involvement with this killing. It's really sad because just an innocent woman was killed. It's terrible, especially like in front of her son. I can't even imagine. It's so gruesome and so creepy. The last really creepy clown encounter that we're going to be talking about is Klutzo the Clown. Klutzo the Clown is honestly one of the creepiest, most disgusting people in the entire world. In October of 2007, A. Paul Carlock Jr., who is a former cop and minister, which is the creepiest part, who performed as a Christian clown, was arrested and charged with possessing child pornography and traveling to engage in sexual conduct with a minor. Basically, Carlock had performed as Calypso the Clown for a decade, constantly working with young children, which is so disturbing that this person was constantly working with young children in the form of a church, which, what the hell? I think the part that creeps me out more is the fact that he was a cop. The person who's supposed to arrest people like this is someone who was doing these terrible things. It's literally so scary to think that someone, how could he mentally be approved to be a cop? I don't understand. But anyway, the most disgusting part of the story is that he traveled to the House of Joy Orphanage in the Philippines. Yes, an orphanage in the Philippines, to do this disgusting thing. When he returned, custom officers at the San Francisco airport asked to look at his digital camera because since he had been with children in a country that was marked as a high risk for sex tourism, he had to be searched for his, like, through his camera and stuff like that. The authorities found pictures of young naked boys that were like showering or just, I don't know, doing whatever naked, and it's really disgusting, but he did deny it and he claimed, I don't know, this is a pretty good cover story, but we know it's not true later, but I don't know how he thought of it this quickly, but he somehow did. He said, oh, it's because I'm showing the church how they live. Like, I plan to take these pictures home and blur out obviously all the like genitalia and all the private parts so that I could protect the kids, and which is so gross that he said this, and I wanted to show the church how these kids in the orphanage live because they don't even have enough money to have clothes. Like, it's crazy, and they believed this at the time. However, 3 boys from the House of Joy Orphanage told investigators that when they woke up that they found Carlock fondling their private areas, which is, like I said, absolutely disgusting. And because they reported it, Carlock's Springfield, Illinois home was searched and at least 21 child pornography videos were found, which is so gross. He was sent to jail in November of 2007. He actually died in jail due to ongoing health complications. Obviously, he got what he deserved. That's so disgusting. The fact that he would think, let me go to an orphanage to do this. Like, it's so sick, and it's so scary that there are actual people like this in the world, and it's so scary to think that he was an ex-cop. I don't know. Those are 2 things I feel like you shouldn't be afraid of. It's like a minister and a cop. But sadly, we live in a sick, sick world. And those are all the it encounters that I want to talk about. Obviously, they're not like it. I don't know. Honestly, it's like a relevant thing, and it's clowns, so I don't know what else you want to call it. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought of this, and if you guys like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Like I said, let me know in the comments what you think of these stories. I mean, obviously, you're gonna be like, they're all gross because they are disgusting, but let me know, I don't know, let me know your thoughts. Did you see the new It movie? I haven't seen it yet, to be honest, so I really want to see it, but I'm scared of movie theaters, so I'll have to wait till it comes out on DVD or whatever. That is it. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram because I'm always posting really dope ass shit on there. Subscribe for new videos every single day, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye! Today.